Hello people. The display on my live chat doesn't seem to be working because I can't see any I don't see the usual configuration of the live chat. But I saw 2 concurrent viewers and then I saw 1 concurrent viewer, and I'm wondering whether to refresh to get the proper display, or shall I start again? Let me see. Please post in the chat, even if it's nonsense, because I kind of need to see what's going on in the chat. But I'll open the other window. Sorry about this. Yes, I see you now, finally. But it's not showing on the other window. But anyway, I've got two of them open now. And what I wanted to say was talk about the difference between me and Mohammed Hijab. I've just watched a video of him on SC Dawa and the others. So I guess that was the beginning of EF Dawa. They seem to have stopped producing videos since they became EF Dawa. I think that's what's happened. And Mohammed Hijab is not on EF Dawa, though he was on SC Dawa. And it seems to be the people he meets in Hyde Park, I think. Because the video I was watching was showing him and a South African whom I guess he has been they're known to each other, and they were having a debate on whether atheism is rational. And I thought that was such a dumb question, because it should be obvious to anybody that there's nothing irrational about being atheist, because, as I have been saying to you again and again, the evidence for God's existence and evidence for God's non-existence is 50-50. So there is no direct evidence of God's existence unless you're saying, oh, it's a Quran, oh, it's a Torah, oh, it's the existence of Jews. But I'm saying that we can still make an honest and moral decision one way or the other, depending on what we choose to do as human beings. So the assertion by SC Dharma, I should have given you the link to it, is, well, not particularly clever. And I guess when I say that, it means I think that I'm cleverer. And I think I am. But unfortunately, what my problem is that the boys have basically conspired to deprive me of the oxygen of publicity. So even inferior demonstrations of debate will get, more views, more publicity than my own. And this is the one I'm talking about, the call-in live. Is atheism rational? And I'm actually defending atheists, saying, you're not being particularly irrational to believe that there isn't a God capable of punishing you in this life or the next. So it's not a particularly constructive claim for these Muslims to make, as you will see. And in this video that I've just posted in the chat, you will see Hijab appearing briefly. So I want to distinguish myself between these Muslims who think they're so clever, arguing with Hijab, because it's not obviously irrational to be an atheist, because as an atheist you'll think, well, if this is my only life and I'm made to forego all kinds of pleasures because I fear the punishment of God, then if it is really true that this life is the only life we have, then I will be foregoing all these pleasures just for the sake of some noble lie. And so I refuse. I will enjoy what it is legal for me to enjoy in this life, and I consider myself rational for deciding on this basis. But somehow these people who were atheists never actually argued using that argument that I've just made. And I suppose it's a sense of frustration, really, when you think, well, if you didn't waste so much time talking about all these arguments that nobody really understands anyway, you really haven't engaged the public. You may have more subscribers, but then it's, all these Muslims, I guess, cheering the poster boys of Dawah on without even understanding any of the arguments. In the same way, too, that you get militant atheists cheering on people like Hijab without even understanding his arguments. And this is what I've discovered when I go through the comments on my exchange with Hijab, because they can't explain themselves either. What they do is they cheer on their poster boy Hijab, who's an atheist. But then these Dawah boys have much bigger channels anyway, because the Ummah are better able to act as a group than these atheists. So therein lies the problem of groupiness, shall we say. So if we look at SC Dawah, you will find that they have 297,000 subscribers. But if you look at Hijab, he has only around 8,000. So, well, one is obviously bigger than the other. So obviously it was more of a coup for me to get on the EF Dawah channel, even though they didn't care for secular Quranism. But anyway, I was on. How many views did that get? Well, not that it really matters, I suppose, because people have the memory of goldfish. But let me just check for you. So Ehab Dawa basically have 271,000 subscribers, and the video I was on had 26,000 views. Let's say it makes a little bit of a difference. Then obviously my getting on the Muslim channel was more effective than getting on the Hijab one. But I was having a discussion with somebody today about whether people are nice or not nice to me, and my focus, of course, is on having the most views, propagating my message most widely and clearly, and obviously I would rather go on a channel where people challenge my ideas and to have, you know, nice, polite people with only very few viewers and subscribers talking to me, so I know on which side of so I know what I have to do to propagate my message, and it's certainly not preaching to the converted. Now, I may have mentioned to you that Jen and I seem to have been roped into being part of Hijab's course to improve their debating skills. So he charges them $100 to subject themselves to Jen and me and this other guy this Christian who behaves like a robot that I was streaming with, I think, for 17 minutes recently, and basically he just repeats the same thing, thinking he's being very clever, but he's just a little creepy. But he thinks it's some kind of technique to frighten people or disconcert people into agreeing with him. And interestingly, somebody said to me that he was creeped out by this guy with his robotic voice. So anyway, the three of us on the Hijab server roped in apparently to try the patience of people who are prepared to, the patience and ingenuity of people prepared to pay Hijab $100 to improve their debating skills. And interestingly, I am equated with white supremacy for some reason. So secular Quranism, or the argument for theocracy, is deemed to be as abhorrent as white supremacy. And apparently the exercise of this is to test the patience of people prepared to debate with people whose views they find abhorrent. And I suggested that, you know, maybe the mods might like to have a go at this, because obviously they are so triggered by me they can't even that all they can do is abuse their powers. So I think if I want to tot up martyrdom points, I think I'm well ahead. I put up with Jen, I put up with Hijab, I put up with all kinds of intransigence and abuse that I think I must be way ahead. So what is the difference between me and Mohammed Hijab? Well, on that video of my exchange with Hijab, please do go there. Somebody said it would be great for Mohammed Hijab and Hijab to have a debate with each other. And I thought to myself, no way is Mohammed Hijab going to do that. What these Muslims do, these brave Muslim men, is that they stay together for safety and they never venture into hostile territory. While I make a point of it, I don't preach to the converted. I venture alone into hostile territory to the extent that I am now equated with white supremacy, or having ideas as abhorrent as white supremacy. But all I promote is Sharia, as interpreted by me. So that's really just another form of Sharia. But Mohammed Hijab will not be talking about this very much. He likes these sort of tedious philosophical arguments that graduates in philosophy like, using words like ontology and epistemology and crap like that ordinary people don't understand and don't care. And if they watch his exchanges with people talking about epistemology and ontology, it would only be because they want to cheer him on because he's the poster boy of Dawah. Now my modus operandi is rather different to staying together for safety in numbers, the way the boys at EF Dawah and SC Dawah do. But I suspect that they won't be having me on again because, well, I don't know. They don't want to give me the oxygen of publicity. They want to think that they're doing a better job than me. And really, the scale of my ambition is far greater than theirs. They want to do their dawah individual by individual, but I wish to do my dawah nation by nation, because I'm arguing that, well, it is not irrational to be atheist. It is, in fact, more moral to behave as if we believed in God than to be atheist. So I'm happy to argue this with anybody, even if they have a smaller channel than me. I suspect that the brave, bad Muslim boys will not be arguing with me, when in fact I ventured into their space. There were 3 of them, and they dogpiled me, but they consider themselves braver and somehow more rational than me. I don't know. But anyway, I'm not particularly impressed with them. But then I suppose they have greater numbers of people who don't particularly get it and don't really care. Not many people care about the arguments. They just know which flag they support. They recognise colours, patterns, symbols, but they can't really deal with arguments. So this is really a challenge to Mohammed Hijab, but I imagine they will have the same tactic as these Islamophobes who hate them to deprive me of the oxygen of publicity by not discussing my idea and making sure, well, and telling each other not to discuss my ideas. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Whether they are actually able to deal with my arguments or not. I suppose they're too afraid of being seen to be discussing secular Quranism, being Muslims. Could that be it? Then they're not as brave as they claim to be. They are perhaps even more risk averse than T-Jump, who actually has me on his Discord server and has made me part of his program of training to improve your debating skills if you pay him. So we'll just see what happens, whether Mohammed Hijab would like to challenge me about my secular Quranism, or whether he'll just join all the cowards of nationalism who dare not even discuss secular Quranism with each other. Tijab, to his credit, thinks he's big enough to deal with me. So we'll see what happens. Because, people like, who has a channel? Millennial Woes can't deal with me. Any of the nationalist channels, Morgoth, who else? They're not even on YouTube anymore. They've migrated to Rumble and BitChute and Odyssey, where I guess they'll never be heard of again, being, far right, or white supremacist, or something of that nature. So we'll see what happens. As usual, I will walk the thin line between two groups who hate each other, because that is my particular political skill. Reinhard Heydrich says, obviously an Islamophobe is not the same as a Christophobe. Why would anybody be afraid of Christians? After all, they have the most despised religion in the West, even more despised than Islam. Leventiel says secular Quranism is kaput. Well, it can't be kaput if you've never used it. The only way it can be kaput is if you tried it and it doesn't work. So you need to know how to use words properly. If you've never tried something, it can't be kaput. So before I go, I'll just have to say again, this is the difference between Mohammed Hijab and me. He won't be going all on his lonesome own into the T-Jump server in order to be totally stupid, to be threatened with muting, to stop. He won't be doing that. Only I do these things. So these the big boys of Dawa are just not up to doing what I do. They can boast all they like, but unless they have me on their show, they plainly are not going into the T-Jump debate chamber all on their lonesome own. Will they? They're not as brave as they claim to be. They're not even that persuasive in the way that they argue things. All they have is a lot of Muslims prepared to cheer them on, whatever they say. Event, what do you mean secular Quranism would never work? How do you know? Are you saying it will never be adopted or it would never work? And why would you say that as a Muslim? It makes no sense. Are you some kind of self-hating Muslim? But then recently you said you believed in God, so I can't really work out the tangles of your mind. It would be nice to get more intelligent comments in the chat. But this is a problem, you see. This is a problem when you have something to say and mainstream media won't platform you and you're just left with morons and vegetables in the chat. And people who think debate is muting other people and telling them to shut up because they're stupid. Does this remind you of somebody with a woman we might have heard of? Luca, do I know you? I know you popped up a few times, but okay, we can talk. Oh yes, I think I remember you. Should I say happy Yom Kippur? I think there's a proper form of words for it that I don't offhand know. I think we've spoken before, haven't we? Find you that the link to that video that I was on with T-Jump. So maybe you'll post a few comments, preferably in support of me, but I don't really care if you want to criticize me. I really don't give a damn, but I mean, obviously it would be good for both T-Jump and me to have more viewers of our exchange. I'm quite pleased that I've got more views than Jen when she was on. But then I discovered that this guy, this really idiotic, moronic Christian who kept repeating the same phrase actually had more views than both Jen and me. I only mentioned Mohammed Hijab, Neo, because somebody in the comment in that video of me and T-Jump said that he would like to see T-Jump debating Mohammed Hijab. And I'm saying that Mohammed Hijab wouldn't dare to do what I have done, which is to enter the den of these militant atheists on his own. You know, these Muslims, they just stay together for safety in numbers. They wouldn't venture out on their own into hostile territory, certainly not on their own. I thought Luca was going to come and join me, but so far nothing. Event Yildiz asked, name me one Muslim who agrees with it. Well, they don't. Well, I know one who likes it. I can give you his channel, and he's been quite supportive. But I guess any Muslim with a job, they're just too afraid to say anything. So it's this one. And he's legally trained as well. So I guess it's not going to happen with these cowardly Muslims who are too afraid to be seen to be discussing secular Quranism because they fear a knock on the door from the security services, I guess. So, Hijab's been going to the park. Do you go there too? Ah, yes, I think you asked me this question yesterday. There have been a few people who say they supported it, but actually even the people who say they support it are, what's his name, Thomas Barden-Rees. He's not a particularly reliable sort of fellow. That's the trouble with these alt-right people, they're just basically fucked in the head. Same with a lot of these nationalists. They can't discuss ideas. These Muslims, I guess they think they can continue to ignore me because I'm not Muslim. And they also know that if they were to be seen to be agreeing with me, they might come to the attention of the security services, I suppose. I mean, I'm being charitable. So if nobody's going to take any risks, except little old me, then I guess nothing's going to happen. And it'll all have been a waste of time. Now, you could say, well, I haven't really got any prominent supporters, so this means that secular Quranism is stupid, right? Of course, I've considered that possibility. I do have to consider these possibilities, you know. But the only reason that would make it conclusive that secular Quranism is not viable would be, you know, a real reason about why it's not viable, rather than, oh, nobody likes it. So finally, Luca has arrived. Oh, I guess it's not. It's Conops. Hello, Conops.
Life.
You're a bit faint.
Oh,
You're very faint, I'm afraid.
oh God, I know.
I know. You're just so distant. You might as well be in Holland.
God.
We can't hear you. Oh, Luca's here. So if well, saved by Luca.
I'll get out.
Luca, can you say hello, Luca? Oh, doesn't mean I can't hear you either. I can't hear you at all. Oh dear. Oh dear. What a pain. You know, you only just sort of temporarily can't quite. What should I do? I think the best thing to do is put this on. Yes. There we are. There we are. So, Luca, can you hear me? Giggle, giggle, giggle. Oh, what's... Is it the same person? Is it the same person? Fill in an abuse report. Abuse type, let's see. Send information, spam and unwanted malware, unwanted sexual content. Yes, yes, yes. So, well, that's a bit of entertainment for you. 11 people watching now. Well, I guess I'm worth trolling. I don't know why. I don't know why people do these things. It's not too late to change, Leven says. Change what? Change what for what? Yes, I do attract a lot of trolls. And I think it's because, well, people are rather low, right? We have low people everywhere, and mainstream media won't platform anything worth debating, and therefore you just get shit like that, and people never getting anywhere, talking lots of nonsense, wasting time, wasting their lives, and people who ought to know better not really doing anything particularly helpful. And, well, I guess everybody's just sort of watching things idly. I don't think it's anything to do with them. Do you give up easily, Levent Yildiz? Is that your thing? I mean, I do accept that, okay, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, and secular Quranism is not viable or sustainable or practicable or anything of that nature. But that would mean, well, no, or even better, that it's not necessary. So fine, it's not necessary because, well, everything's working fine, right? Everything's just fine. Nothing needs changing. Everything's okay. Right? So that means it's not needed, and that would invalidate it, obviously. But with these Muslim men, Mohammed Hijab is a father now. What's he going to do? He's going to just wait for the moral sewage of Globo Homo to get his children, I guess. Is that what he thinks is Islamic to do? Well, I don't know what these other men think. They're roughly about the same age, in their late 30s, maybe early 40s, with family, and they think it's just fine to live here while the culture deteriorates. I suppose it's safer for them to just talk about, the usual. You can see their shtick on EF Dawa. They invite Christians to go and talk to them, and it's easy to talk to show how stupid they are. Very easy indeed. So, and then they get lots of super chats, and that's it. That's their shtick. Anybody can defeat a Christian in argument, because they have no arguments. They really are the dumbest people. So you get these Christian apologists like Sam Shamoon and Darth Dawkins. But even that is degenerate, because they're A, very rude, and B, only preach to the converted. So the atmosphere of any VC with Darth Dawkins would be, the people who listen to it just want to listen to Darth shouting at people and muting them, and that's it. That's their pathetic form of entertainment. And I guess I have to put up with this because mainstream media won't platform me because they have this unspoken agreement or directive not to platform me. Yes, I know Mohammed Hijab has a job, but what I'm talking about here is the ability and desire to discuss controversial subjects, and I guess everybody's just shutting up. So on the T-Jump channel, there's actually very little politics being discussed. It's all the usual, does God exist, and is atheism true, is Christianity true, and these sort of dead-end debates. It just makes sure it's completely pointless. Nobody understands anything, and still the super chats keep coming. You would have thought that the Muslims would be better, but not really. So, Neo, did you see me on EF Tower? Did you see me? Assad Z2, I don't know, people always complain about the volume not being loud enough, but whenever I play it back afterwards, it's fine. So I don't know. So am I expected to monologue for another 10 minutes before Connops arrives with his headphones in this time? Well, it would be easier if I got something sensible in the chat to respond to. So the last few days I've been saying that these people who call themselves Jews, Christians and Muslims, I think they're really atheists, right? They must be atheists because they're as cowardly as atheists. The boys at EF Dawa with their super chats. It's enough for them just to say, hey, I'm Muslim. Ooh, aren't I cool? Haven't I got big biceps? Look at me. Super chat me. Well, yeah. And that's it. They're not going to talk about anything worth discussing. Really lame debates like, oh, atheism is irrational. Like that really dumb one that T-Jump appeared in. I don't even remember what he said now. So, yeah, obviously you can, appear to be in control when it's your stream with your mates. 3 of them at least to deal with anyone. So, hey, it's just me on my own. But these Muslim Dawa boys, they think they're better than me. Of course they're better than me, right? They've got 267,000 subscribers who, I guess are not really going to care about the arguments. In the same way that the T-Jump supporters don't really care about the arguments. It's all about, it's my guy, and I'll support him whatever he says, even if I don't really understand it, because that's how I get my kicks. All right. I don't even think I'm going to wait for 10 more minutes. So, Levent, you're now saying that secular Quranism is haram, is it? Really? You're no Muslim scholar, though. But then no Muslim scholar with a job is going to talk about it, is going to be seen to be talking about it, in case they'll end up without a job, right? No one is going to support me using his real name, which suggests that they are the ones who are cowards, and the only ones who dare give an opinion are, well, not people with any kind of authority or intellectual or moral standing. So come on, Muslim scholars, come and tell me how it's haram and how their way of interpreting the Quran has stood them in such good stead, right? Of course you've seen Palu on another channel. I think I know the one you mean. That's the one that I've been on.
Can you hear me now, sir?
The vent yielded. I've told you before, secular Quranism can only be kaput if it has been used and broke down. But I know a lot of people are confused about ideas and confused about words.
Can you hear me now?
And you
Hello,
can
Claire.
join Dr. Mengele and
Hey, can you hear me
agree with
now,
each
or
other.
can you not hear anything? Jesus Christ.
But then he's never been
Hello
to
there.
university.
Hello? You not hear me? Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Can you hear me or not?
Yes, I can. Hello.
Oh, were you just talking over me, or am I
I'm sorry,
very faint
I
as
only
well?
just heard you because I took my headphones off.
Oh, now I get it. I get it.
Now shall I... Okay, this is what I must do. Levent wants to come in. In case it's not him, I have to do this thing. And then I let him in. Hello?
كي تسترد المظالم حتى الأراضي
At least I took precautionary measures.
قول الصوارم كي
Now let
تسترد
him say what he said.
Who is your troll, by the way?
I don't know.
I mean, he's really persistent, I have to say.
They do the same. They do.
رسالة البغي صالت فأين عهد الحواسم ناسوا بأننا أبات نذود ذود القشاعم نحن الذين
I think the troll.
I'm
I think the
going.
troll is just getting Claire, like making her slip off her chair with that kind of music. But how you been doing, Claire?
Yeah, I've been fine.
Doing good?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I've been. What's the biggest thing I've done? It's not, not such a big deal, I guess. I mean, I guess it's still the T-Jump thing and weekend review, kind of talking about me on and off for about 7 hours. Duvid thinking that I won the debate with T-Jump because he rage quit his own stream. And a few people also saying, well, that his behaviour was uncalled for. And a few people saying, oh, why do you do it? Why do you bother doing it? That kind of thing.
Can you provide me with some context? Because I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
You didn't see me with T-Jump?
No.
Well, that's
you had a
supposed to be my
debate
latest
with
thing.
T-Jump.
So you didn't even see Week in Review either. Did you see Week in Review?
Sweetheart, I don't have time for that kind of stuff anymore.
All right.
No, unfortunately not. No, I like to watch people from time to time, but now I can just get a couple of minutes in a day, and then I just watch like 2 minutes, comment, and then leave. That's what I can do now.
Okay.
But not tonight.
Oh, good. I'm glad you have the time. So I guess the more entertaining streams would be me on T-Jump, and even to a certain extent, I guess Jen on T-Jump with Jackson Wheat, because she was being so ridiculous about evolution, and she was also on. She did another evolution debate with Mark Reed on evolution too, but I didn't listen to that.
Interesting. So I wonder if she's gonna use my argument. The last time we talked, she asked us actually very kindly to provide her with some evidence against evolution. Tried my best, so I hope she used it.
Yeah, so I know that she has to believe that the universe was uncreated, because she her pantheism is about saying that God is a universe, so they have to be at the same time, at the same level, kind of thing. I don't know if I've made myself
Yeah,
clear.
but I don't know. I don't know why she's against evolution, because you could
I think it's something
perfectly
to do with a
say,
pantheism, but I haven't quite worked it out yet.
yeah, well, perhaps so, but that's totally not necessary. I think there are plenty of pantheists that believe in evolution. Most do. It makes no sense. I don't see how you can explain all this evidence away, all the skeletons, all the fossils, all the
Yeah, I remember.
corona strains and shit like this. I don't see how you can explain it away.
Yeah, I mean, I did discuss. I do remember having this discussion with her some time ago, and she's basically um, quite determined to argue against evolution because of something, and I haven't worked out, what. But the pantheism I can work out. I mean, she has to deny the Big Bang because um, if you believe in the Big Bang, then I think you have to believe that something caused it and it was God, that kind of thing. So she has to reject that possibility. So when I talk about things like the redshift, she she has to deny it. And I did ask her about it, but I can't remember her answer now.
No, Einstein, I don't know if you can call him actually a pantheist, but some kind of a pantheist in one way or another. Like, he thought the universe was God in a sense as well, although I think what he understood to be God might be tantamount to atheism as well. But he could perfectly combine that view with the view of evolution. And I think many people can. It's just that Jen has these actions, and something doesn't fit the theory. Too bad for the fact. That's how she works.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the latest week in review, if you're interested, that was quite funny, because she was quite excited, really, to gloat at me, and actually allowed me on.
Oh wow, is she still that nice? I don't know.
No.
Like the
She
last.
only allowed me on, but so she could,
Oh, so she's back to
gloat.
the old Jen again.
Oh yeah, oh
You know.
yeah, oh yeah. But Duvet was actually quite supportive, and I think you'll enjoy the psychodrama.
Oh yeah, I would. What about Pelu? Has he appeared on your
I
channel?
think he's on Discord now. I mean, he's in Jen Wallace's Discord server, but I haven't been active in that.
Yeah, because he was sending a message to me today. This is how I got back to watching you actually, because Pelu sent a message saying, "How do you do?" Blah blah blah, and I want you to watch this. And then I got referred to all these Jen Wallace. I don't know what her
Yes,
name is.
Jen Wallace.
Stream. Yes, Jen Wallace streams. That was pretty interesting. But I only caught a fragment. It's a bit of a circle jerk, of course. Like, what is better, Islam or Buddhism and stuff like this? I don't know. Like, when I had some spare time for me, just for me, I've been sort of reading the news and shit. And boy, that shit has like really changed. Like the Taliban, the COVID shit. It can really sort of absorb you.
Yeah, all kinds of things are happening. Yeah, well, China, Australia, nuclear submarine thingy. Things are
Oh yeah,
indeed hotting
and
up.
the shit with North Korea, like I didn't have a chance to read up on it, but what the fuck is going on with North Korea now?
No, I think we're kind of heading towards a kind of third world war situation, right?
Oh, you guys always think that we are. I think it will be calm for another 20 years or so. But yeah, I mean, the structural problems are that China is a very big nation. And yeah, a rising power and, how would you say, declining power. That's never good news for world peace, I would say.
Well, it's a Thucydides trap kind of thing again, but this time it's, America falling into it.
Yeah, but on the other hand, what can you do, right? I mean, at some point, China is going to assert its power. Then you have two choices: either you can acquiesce, or you can stand up to it.
Well, the thing is, if you weren't so aggressive, then you wouldn't have, provoked a more aggressive reaction from China. So, this telling off of China every time about its human rights, it's just not a good idea, this finger wagging. And I guess, China
Well,
would have
I'm
been
not so
prepared to
sure
put
it
up
is,
with it,
Claire.
if it were weaker, but now it's just said, we've
I'm
had
not so
enough.
sure it is because the situation in what was it, Xinjiang? God, can never pronounce this. You're Chinese, you
Xinjiang,
can do it.
I
Yes.
think.
Yeah, that's rather serious. Also,
Is it serious? It's just
well,
such a
I, I, th-
bad. It used to be
I think it
Tibet.
is, and I think Muslims have instinctive, reflective identification with their fellow Muslims. So actually, for the West, it's not too bad to actually use this to sort of break up the Islamic Sino alliance, even though that's rather difficult. Because you know what happens when you stand up to China as an Islamic country. You get isolated. You have problems with trade. Like the Chinese are rather rigorous with that kind of stuff.
I think the
So
Chinese are on reasonably good terms with Muslim countries.
well, yes and no. Like for now, but this whole Uyghur stuff, like once things really get out, what happens in these camps, it's rather. I don't know. Did you know that, for example, a Uyghur family has to have a Han Chinese like mentor or something like that, and this guy will sleep in your fucking house.
Sorry, what was the last thing you said?
This guy will sleep in your fucking house.
Oh,
You can imagine you're a man, and then this guy living in your house, and then I don't know, maybe
I actually
touching
can't.
your wife.
I can't. Okay, I haven't read about that, so if you can send me stuff about that. I mean, unless the Chinese are actually on purpose wanting to piss people off, I don't see why they would do something like that. I mean, there are
Well, that's
easier
the
ways to spy on you, like
yeah. Well,
use your
they want to
mobile phone, right?
Well, they spy on you, but I mean, mobile phones can always, I mean, they fuck up. You have encryption. It's not that easy. And if you have somebody there at the place that you need to be, what you could do is maybe try to influence people's separatist aspirations.
Well, I get it that there's a lot of fake news around. Uh, I,
Yeah, but
I,
but how do you know? Like, you never really thoroughly
I just
investigated.
actually I don't
So,
care. I don't care.
no, but
I'm more concerned about the West, and if you want to believe,
yeah, but
whatever
there's
the
this sort
hell
of
you want to believe about
reflective.
China, fine. But I'm actually thinking about whether the West is sane or not, and I don't think it is.
Yeah, but you only think that because you don't have anything to compare it with. Why don't you sort of really delve into what's happening in non-Western countries? That's not so fine either.
Well, I'm really
Can,
concerned
can,
about
can
the
you can you
West.
imagine? Can you imagine, Claire, that people will be trying to jump on planes to avoid avoid Denmark and to flee from Denmark? Can you imagine that situation?
Okay, so you're talking about these Afghans being so desperate. I guess they think, well, the Taliban are gonna come and behead them, and well, I guess if you've been collaborating with the enemy for the past 20 years, and the enemy is leaving, and you know that they're gonna get you, I guess you'd be pretty desperate to leave too. And that, I think, as explains why so many Afghans were so desperate to leave with the American planes.
Yeah, but they're coming everywhere. They're also desperate enough to go on a boat over the Mediterranean, which is pretty much a fucking graveyard. It's not.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, but
not
then
just.
once they get here, they don't get sent back. So that's why they keep coming, because they
Yeah,
know
but the reason.
Western nations are sitting ducks. They can't even you know.
Mhm. No, but the fact is that they want to go from unstable, unsuccessful societies to successful, stable, and wealthy ones, right? So I mean, if you compare it like that,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
you can all
I
you can
totally get it.
say
That
you
if
can
you,
say, oh, the West is in decline, but as it stands today, it is
I don't know
more wealthy,
why you feel so
better,
proud about it.
economically more viable,
20,000
happier than other
Afghans are coming
societies,
to
more
the
stable.
UK. 20,000 Afghans are coming to the UK.
I wonder what's going to happen to this guy that's on Ralph's stream always. This guy that calls himself Afghan, that has some sympathies for the Taliban. Apparently now the Taliban has said that everybody that is of Afghan or Pashtun or whatever heritage that's connected to Afghanistan, that they need to come home and to be in Afghanistan. I wonder
And
if the
build up
guy
their
is.
country again, or words to
Yeah,
that
build up
effect.
that country. Well, I would actually think that would be consistent. That these people that always scream about how bad the West is and how great the Taliban is, well, go there and see how you like it. Well, I wonder if they actually have the sort of the nerve to stay, because I mean, after the fighting is done, it's going to be boring. Um, it's going to be a boring, poor place. And if the fighting ever gets done, because I don't know, now it seems that there are some clashes between the different factions of the Taliban. So-called Haqqani faction is fighting with the diplomatic, the Baradar faction. But we don't know. Is Mr. Baradar, is he still missing?
I'm afraid I don't even follow it closely enough to know who the hell you're talking about.
Oh yeah, well yeah, the diplomatic. So you have a sort of a diplomatic old guard that sort of realized some of the mistakes they made before. But then there's the Haqqani faction, and the Haqqani faction is actually associated with the Pakistani Taliban as well. And well, they are much more, how would you say, militant. They've also been involved in some terrorist attacks. So if these two are clashing, I wonder what's going to happen, Maybe the Taliban will split, maybe not. But, I mean, whatever it's going to be a poor shithole for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
So then I think glory to the West. We might not be as trad as you want to, Claire, but I'm sure, we don't have to sacrifice our daughters to prostitution out of poverty.
Is that what the Afghans are known for?
Well, that's what we heard about. Well, definitely the boys apparently, yeah, and how all
well,
these.
You just said daughters, and now you talk about
boys.
the boys. I mean, talk about goalpost shifting.
Okay, well, I know in Syria it happened a lot. Well, we haven't seen what is coming in Afghanistan, but we've seen it in Syria.
Maybe we haven't seen what's coming
in the refugee camps. Huh?
Maybe we haven't seen what's coming in the West.
Well, I mean, it's a long time coming there. I mean, you guys are always sort of saying, "Oh, it's going to end. It's going to end." I wonder when it's going to end.
Well,
every time there's a conflict with Iran or some diplomatic problems, everybody says World War III, World War III. Chill out. It's not reasonable.
Well, I suppose it's bound to come, isn't it?
But look, I'm not a political analyst or anything, but if I compare myself to the people in the alt-right and sort of what our predictions have been for the I don't know, a couple of last years, I've been, I think, solidly more right. Maybe like I don't know, 10 times more right. I was screaming, "Oh, the world's gonna end! It's gonna end!" But
Well, I don't think
it
anybody
never
was
really
saying
is.
that specifically, but I mean, I think
Oh,
anybody would have the idea that we're not heading towards a good place simply because there's so many problems that are unaddressed.
well, what about? And this is something I never hear in the old right, or rarely. Maybe Richard Spencer, people who are a bit more sensible, like slow decline. Slow decline, which is actually like if there is
Well,
decline,
that's been
that's
going
going
on
to
since
be
Victorian
the most
times.
likely scenario, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
slow
I mean, but people
decline.
have been talking about that since Victorian times. They've been talking about, well, the British slow decline, which meant
Yeah,
that.
maybe we're still in that process,
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe
So
it takes a
there's
fucking
nothing
long
to
time.
be, well, it's nothing to be proud of, and we know the causes of the decline. So people should try and reverse it or talk about reversing it. But I don't see any sign of that.
Like, but what are the sources of decline that we share with the Victorians then?
Well, the same sources. I mean, it's like, marine empires decline because eventually people wise up to their way of doing things and, reject it, challenge it, try and find a way around it, or rival empires rise.
Oh, it's a cycle of civilization. Yeah.
Yeah, and so what you need to do is, deal with these things, and you can only. You're drinking booze, I can tell. I can hear
No,
these
I'm
words.
having some. I'm not like OV drinking some kind of vodka with water or whatever. No, I have some. I have some prosecco. Do it a bit in style.
It's a girl's drink.
Yeah. So you've been hanging around the tea jump sphere, or what is it? Modern day debate. Amy.
Amy
What is her
Newman,
name? Amy.
I've been told I'm no longer welcome.
What did you do?
Well,
What on earth did you do?
I didn't do anything really. I think what I did, what I did that might have caused it was hanging around their Discord server after a stream that I appeared on, and and chatting to people, and I think I finally got this Will Stewart, who's a Calvinist, to debate me, and he actually agreed, and I went great, Mark Reed is my witness, and then I think he must have got cold feet because the next thing I heard was that they no longer want me to darken their doors. It might be something to do, and I'm convinced of this, which is that it's the Christians who don't like me. But they made such a fuss that the pagans and the atheists had to get rid of me because they know I keep gunning for their Trinity and they know it's morally and intellectually indefensible. And so I had to go. But you know my
Well,
shtick about the Trinity anyway.
yeah, I know. And, I remember when you wanted to invite this Indian Hindu girl, this trad girl.
Oh yes, that
Yeah,
that appeared on Luke's show.
yeah. Sweetheart, I saw your message that was directed at her to get her on your show, and I have to say, like if that's the way you communicate with people to get you on the show, and then it doesn't surprise me that you got kicked off.
What did I say to her? I can't even
Mm.
remember now. What did I say to her?
So it was all the sort of the standard thing you say, like
What addressed to her in the chat? Is that
no, no,
on
no,
Luke's?
no, no. She was never in our chat. That was a fake one. I'm sure of it.
No, I don't know.
She's
So
never.
what did I say to her that you might have
Yeah.
been privy to?
You wrote uh on her blog or something, like a reaction to one of her articles.
Oh, right,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Mm. And then
But
you
she
went on
doesn't
your
appear
stick
anywhere
about
anyway. I'm going to
No, she
check her
doesn't.
name again. I don't think she appears. It's just a sort of.
No. Only on Luke because Luke pays for him. I am
Okay, well,
100%
then
sure.
obviously, she's too special. She has a.
Hey, come on. She's a model. Um, she. I'm not so sure
A
she
lot
was
of
actually
people do it
interested.
as a hobby.
Yeah, but I mean, look, she had one podcast. This one podcast, you had to pay. You could be a Patreon for like a year for like 200 euros. I mean, that's a catfish. Yeah, if that's not a catfish, nothing is.
Yeah, her name's Margarita. But anyway, I guess okay.
Yeah,
So you asked Luke. He said he didn't have to pay for her, but you're saying
yeah.
he must have done
He
because
lied.
why
He
would he?
lied.
Why would she appear on his show?
Yes. Why would she? I
Mm.
think she doesn't do anything for free. Uh, so if you can't even release your podcast for free, and I know that Luke paid in the past for his guest. He paid for Gregory Cochrane. What was his name? Cochrane?
I
Something like
don't
that.
know who he
This
is.
human biodiversity guru, this sort of
Oh
great
right.
realist, stuff
Oh
like that.
right.
Yeah, and he's actually a rather sort of famous name, so he had to pay like 500 euros. So I'm sure he paid Margarita maybe like 100 or something.
Huh. I'm just wondering who I would pay if I were inclined to pay.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, if you're willing to pay, sir, you can
Okay. The,
get
the
anybody.
person I would really want to pay would be what's his name? The retired Supreme Court judge called Jonathan Sumption. He would be the one I pay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You know that Tehran Pool actually got some famous academics for free.
Yeah, I
But
know. But
you know, he's
unfortunately,
good at
I just can't take an
he's good at
interest in
writing notes.
anything they
Like he,
say. I try to listen to them and I don't even make it through. It's like, what did they say? I don't even
oh,
know.
there's a famous expression by Schopenhauer: if somebody walks against a book or walks into a book and it makes a sound, who's responsible for the sound?
What? What did you say?
If somebody like bumps their head against a book and it makes a sound, who's responsible for the sound? Your head or the book?
Well, I'd say the head made the sound because the head is
Yeah,
the moving
I
thing.
I would tend to agree most of the time. Yeah, because I don't know, like for me it was perfectly understandable and very interesting. But maybe it's like
I
academic
don't know
stuff,
which one you're talking about now. Which one you're
Well,
talking?
particularly one was his interview with Hoyland, Robert Hoyland, about early Islamic history, and then he had this interview with this really charming uh, woman. I think she was from either Costa Rica or something like this, and she was interested in the so-called conversos, the people that due to Ferdinand and Isabella's intolerant behavior towards Muslims and Jews, that they had to go and hide their faith. And she's talking about this, um, about this culture that was developed in Spain by Muslims and Jews who couldn't openly practice their religion. Very interesting, very charming lady.
Yeah, because they were
If I was a
forcibly
couple
converted.
of if I was a couple of years older and she didn't have a husband and children, very nice. That's a charming woman, I would say. Very much lefty. I think both of the, I don't know. I wouldn't say like a hard right woman is not very interesting to anybody.
Right. Well, I'll have a look. But yeah. Well, I'm Maria Del Mar. That one.
Yeah, that's her. Absolutely charming woman. So yeah, also like he has a great. I mean, that's like underappreciated because I don't know. He doesn't have many viewers, although like in the end it adds up. I don't know how many views that particular video got, but maybe like 1,000
404.
now. Okay, 440, 404.
404.
Okay, yeah. Well, that will rise to about 1,000 in a year or so. I mean, that's not only the live streaming that will get you views, but later on it will get you views because it's interesting conversation for you. You know, for people in the field, it's really fascinating. But yeah, it's very technical. It's not so political.
Yeah, which is why I guess I never make it through these videos.
So is Pelu gonna appear at your show again? Or is
I don't think so.
you're
Well,
over?
I think he's still mad at me.
Still, he does bear a grudge with you, you know. Like we once talked it over, and I think Pelu and me are totally cool now. I said some awful things to him. I was a bit upset, but we're cool now.
Well,
Because
I
you know,
think
like
yes.
you know, no, Pelu is a sensitive man,
Yeah.
and I think I treated him a bit like everybody else, which I shouldn't have done. I think, looking back on it. So with him, you have to, I don't know. For him, it's more carrot than stick. But if it's Domingo or a V, and like I'm used to all these people, you know. Like, but Beto is more like a person that I meet in real life, you know. And you have to take a bit of account of their feelings.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So, do you have any master plan of expanding your internet presence, Claire?
No, not at the moment. I mean, really, I think I'm. Actually, at the moment, I'm a bit out of ideas.
Maybe a new idea would be good. Like a new idea, like not sexist or honest.
Then what else? Do you just want me to give up delete my YouTube account?
Yeah, I think that would be best for everybody.
Oh, but how would I
Even for you.
you?
I think mostly for you. I think it's just a lot of wasted time. You know what you could do? You could do pottery there.
No.
You could do painting.
No way.
You can listen to
I
all
like
these
doing
sort of.
this, you know. I actually like doing this. Maybe I have an addiction for it.
I think you do.
Yeah, I think.
But
so.
you know what?
I mean, I guess so does Luke. I think.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. But you know what? If you're out of it for a couple of days, weeks, then you don't have to go. Like, you don't feel like you have to go back.
But the thing is, you know, I really think it's like, look at these crazy people, and they're not doing the obvious thing, and you know, it's not like, you know, anybody else is doing it bigger or better than me. You know, it's like, it's obvious that their religion is kaput. Of course they don't want to accept it because it's terrible being told that your religion and your political system is kaput. I get it. So that's why.
Why don't you never write, Claire? Like, why don't you never write a book? I mean,
Who would read it? Who would read it?
These streams will be eventually deleted, as you should know, right?
Yeah, but I do.
Eventually, they'll find some porn flashing, or they find something somebody said once.
Yeah.
And then it's bye channel.
I know, but I mean, I do, you know, say what I say in words, and type them out.
Yes,
and I can easily repeat them. You know, it's, you know, obviously they're not that hard to remember.
Yeah, but you know that sort of everybody knows what you have to say. You used to have two supporters, John Sands. I think now he's like totally anti-Vax. By the way, what do you think about the anti-Vax movement?
I don't. Yeah, okay. This is kind of like agnosticism. I'm going to stay right out of it because I don't want to have to deal with all this sort of complicated arguments about science and whatever. I just, you know, if you think I waste my time, I don't want to waste my time on that.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, I get it. I get it.
Involved.
It's sort of like you have a. Everybody has sort of feeling. Like my feeling is that the anti-vax people are completely nuts.
Yeah, they're doing it because they hate their government. That's why they're doing it.
Oh yeah. So now people that used to be sort of run-of-the-mill fascists now are afraid of the state all of a sudden. Oh my God, I'm being vaxxed. I'm being forced to be like getting a jab. And on the other hand, you have people who used to be very liberal and everything is cool, and then now they're willing to put straitjackets on people and to compulsorily vax them. I mean, this is a real turnaround.
Yeah, and apparently it's worse in Australia.
hmm Well, which makes me think that Ralph, who relies a lot on Jonathan Haidt about this sort of natural personality where people are conservative or liberal, he might be wrong. I think people are not necessarily people who have a disgust impulse. That's not sort of natural. People have it. It sort of depends on the topics you talk about. So these liberals are willing to go full fash when it comes to compulsory vaccination, which I think is probably a very bad idea.
Well, I do think the West is slowly going mad anyway. And, even if nothing comes of my efforts to correct it, at least I can say, well, I did my best. They wouldn't listen. And there it
Yeah,
is.
but nobody would have remembered you there. That's the problem because you didn't put anything into writing. So who's gonna see your blog when it's blogged by the British authorities and maybe the Americans or the Dutch or the Scandinavians or whatever? Who's gonna watch your YouTube videos when they're all removed
Well,
from YouTube?
obviously, it can be easily collated and, downloaded. Um, and I have the facility to do that. But I don't think anybody's going to publish my book, even if I wrote it. I mean, that is the problem. Yes, I could have it,
Come on, there will be some sort of nasty bookstore that will do it.
yeah, but then nobody will read it. You see, nobody will read it. So you're just suggesting another way of me wasting my
No, no,
time.
no, no. Because look, like if you've written something down and if it's in a book, maybe in 200 years, people will find that work and say, "Oh my God, she was so right," But they won't find your streams.
No, no,
And also, I
no.
mean,
I know they're temporary, so I'm not that bothered about them. It's just a bit of fun. Um, um,
but
um,
why don't you take the old ones down? That's what Ralph does or OB does or whatever. Like that.
why? Why would I take them down?
Because you jeopardize all your subscribers and your channel.
Well, but then if I take them down, then people won't see it, and then I will have just sort
But
of.
who do you think like we are or anybody is looking at old streams of 7 hours?
Well, some people tell me that, oh, I saw this thing, and it's quite gratifying. But anyway, it's a principle, really. It's like, I'm not going to. I mean, okay, it would be even worse, right? It would be even worse if I actually voluntarily privated all my videos, because I will be self-censoring myself and actually,
Yeah.
sabotaging my own work. So, but if they want to nuke me, then they can nuke me. But I'm not going to nuke myself. I'm not going to let them make me nuke myself, which is what Ralph has done.
Hmm. Yeah, but Ralph would lose his channel in a moment.
Yeah,
I
but
think because it's too popular.
if you
Because he has
yeah,
about
but
like
his
90
stuff
or
is
100 views.
it's edgier than mine, right?
His are not more edgy than yours, no.
No, I mean, the people have been saying that he's been threatening violence and whatever. I mean, I don't talk about running people through with my sword, right? I don't do things like that.
Yeah, but I
Oh,
really come on, like I don't think he'll be banned for that kind of stuff. I think it's more the other stuff. I
what
actually
me
think
or him?
no, like in general, like I think it's like things like the N word or stuff
Oh,
about the
does he say that?
Holocaust
I
or
haven't noticed.
anti-vax or stuff like that will get you banned. I'll tell you this,
Yeah, but
like
I don't do these things, right? I don't say the N word. I'm really not
oh
interested
yeah,
in that
and you
stuff.
don't want to talk about the Holocaust. Yeah, I remember
No,
that one.
no, I just don't
Yeah.
see the point. Yeah, it's not my
Yeah, but
area of
that's also
interest.
but
So I
well,
guess
yeah, but that's
that's
also
what
so
keeps me
sensitive.
safe, huh? Except that when I attracted two strikes because I mentioned Alison's name.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
why I've got my two
yeah.
strikes. The two strikes I had were on videos that mentioned her name. But actually, I don't mind. I don't
Okay.
mind going down in sympathy with Alison.
Going down in flames with Alison. How is she, by the way?
Oh, she's still inside, isn't she?
Oh God, poor girl. Well, she made a horrible little song, but yeah,
I thought it was quite a good
shouldn't
catchy
be.
song.
You shouldn't be put in jail because of the song.
Of course
I think
not,
that's
particularly
ridiculous.
when there isn't a crime, when it's not even a crime in your own country.
Although I will say, I wonder what you think about this situation. I remember there's a court case in The Hague, and it has to do with the Rwandan Tutsi genocide. You know, so there was this radio station that like constantly, riled people up. You know, saying, "Oh, Tutsis are cockroaches. Tutsis are cockroaches." You know. And then go to their houses and stuff like this. I mean, should that be legal? I don't think so.
Of course it shouldn't be, because it's inciting violence against a
Yeah.
group or individual, because you're not supposed to do that. There should be a law anyway stopping you from doing that without you creating extra laws.
Yeah.
There are
well,
already laws against
incitement
that
to
before
violence.
all this sort of PC crap.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. But then incitement to hatred.
Well,
That's a more
actually,
difficult one,
okay,
right?
that should be allowed. You know, if you want to incite hatred, it's like, well, you know, if you complain, because then it just means if you complain about any individual or group, you could be inciting hatred if your complaints are true. Like, you did this terrible thing to me, Connors. Look at me, I'm suffering. How could you do this to me?
Like libel law or something. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
believe
like,
much in
defamation
libel law.
already deals with it. So if I said things about you that aren't true, you know, you could get me. But you know, there are, you know, but to complain about somebody, you know, is tantamount really to inciting hatred, because if these complaints are true, it would incite hatred. So that is the problem area of the law.
I'll give you this one. I know somebody who got banned from Facebook, or how would you say, put into Facebook jail, let's say, for a couple of weeks, because she said things about the Chinese, and the particular sentence was, so first they create first these Chinese create the virus, and then they genocide the Uyghurs. Jesus
Uyghurs,
Christ, I can never
maybe.
pronounce
Uyghurs?
Yeah.
I think it's pronounced Uyghurs.
Uyghurs, yeah, Uyghurs. You guys say, yeah, we say Uyghuren. But anyway, so he got put into sort of Facebook jail for that. So, like, you're punished by saying things that, like even the sort of the media would agree with, but on Facebook you can't say it because that's incitement. Well,
Yeah,
but then
I
what
just,
is incitement?
well,
Incitement is a
I
very
don't think anybody is
complicated
clear,
thing.
because okay, to be fair to these media companies, they get fined too. It's like, if you don't remove all these these
Yeah,
posts,
true.
well, you're gonna be fined X number of euros, whatever. So I guess they think, well, better safe than sorry. But okay, if it were up to me, and I would actually make it, you have to give us your ID just to have a social media account.
No, really. Oh, that's totally fash. I think
Is that fash? It's like, then people
that's totally
take
fash.
responsibility for their comments, so they won't post all kinds of stupid shit. It's like, in a way, I think, yeah,
Yeah, but that's fucking scary. I mean, that's how you
because
create a
people should own what they
totalitarian
say.
state.
People should own what they say.
Well, we'll see what happens with Alison. You don't want to be Alison. If you said
Alison
that,
was
and,
happy to own what she said. She was proud of her song. That's why she uploaded it on her YouTube channel. So she wasn't ashamed. She knew that everybody, I mean, people would know who she was if she uploaded it, because the account was in her name. And she's a a musician and a singer, so she wanted her name to be known. So, and she had thought it through, and I guess,
Well,
she didn't
did
think
she
it was
really know?
Holocaust
Did
denial.
she really know the consequences of
No,
what she
no,
told?
no. We had a talk about this, and I said, at the time, oh, it's Holocaust denial, and she said, well, it's not a crime in this country. And I couldn't argue with that. But I said, well, maybe better not
Yeah.
go there, Alison. But she decided to go there. And then, more recently, I actually read her words, the words of the song carefully, and I thought, oh, it's actually arguable that it's not even Holocaust denial.
Nah, well, then you're being very charitable. You're just being as charitable as with the Vande Conference, I would say.
I am a charitable sort of woman.
Yeah, well, I like to hear these words from Madison herself, I have to say. Well, maybe you should invite her on one day when she's
Well,
out of
when
jail.
she's finally out of jail, yes, I
Can
would
you
love.
invite her? Can
But
I talk
I
to
think
Addison?
she'll have all kinds of restrictions on her. So I don't
But
know.
if she doesn't, can I talk to her? Because you're friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do want to talk to the old lady. That would be
What would you want to
that would
say
be
to
great.
her? What would you want to say to
Oh,
her?
I just want to hear about what she actually meant by the song.
I can tell you what she meant by the song.
She might be much better at it than you.
Well, I
It's
guess
their own idea.
she's more into her. Well, she knows more about revisionist history than me.
Ah, yeah. For me, it sounded like the song was trying to cast doubt on individuals as to cast doubt on the whole thing.
No,
You can
because
always,
she talked about fake survivors, Connor. She
yeah.
talked about fake survivors. She didn't say,
But doesn't she think that all survivors are fake?
no, because if you talked about fake survivors, the implication is that they are real survivors, and
Is that true?
she named the fake survivors.
Did she name the real ones as well?
No, of course you can't name the real ones because there's so many of them, but she named the ones who are known to be fake.
She did. I don't know. Have you
No,
ever read so? Have
have you
you?
even read the lyrics of the
Okay, but
song?
have you ever read something by Edison, or did she say something about a real survivor?
No, you can read the song, the
No,
lyrics
no,
of
no.
the
But
song.
okay, but I want some positive evidence that she actually
You can write to
believes
her
some
anyway.
survivors, which I doubt she does.
I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I mean, good
Well, I mean,
question.
as far as I'm concerned, she was just mocking, she was mocking the fake survivors, and that this means that she accepts that there were real survivors. So what's the problem? Maybe her legal team fucked up.
Uh, Possibly, or she fucked up herself by not actually saying that in court.
I don't know. I mean, it's up to her legal team to do that sort of thing, right? You
Yeah,
know,
it would definitely up for a legal
and
team.
you read the legal decisions, it's just such a mess. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? It doesn't say anything. And I think they deliberately confuse the issue, and they don't say it properly just so they want to hide the fact that that they're doing all these things. Talking about legal cases, John Vance did a stream today about the leader of the CNP.
Oh, Travis Patron.
Yeah. And it was
So,
just mostly incoherent. It's like, oh, these sad people, they can't even string a
which
sentence
which
together.
which
It was
which
about
court
an
case is
hour
that?
long, but he was basically incoherent.
So which court case is that? The one in which he battered two women, or is it the other one?
How many
The
are
one about.
there? Maybe you're more informed about it than I am.
Well, I mean, he had this incident, right? When he was like
Yeah, I think it's all the
looking
same
for.
thing. Apparently, he's in custody. So,
Yeah.
yeah, the
So
only thing I caught of it is that he has a promise not to be accused of anything. It's like, how can how can you control who accuses you of what?
yeah.
You can agree not to do stuff, but if people want to accuse you of all kinds of shit, then how can you stop them?
I think actually that Travis Patron has a lot less sense than John Zant himself, and that's saying something.
I think he's probably mentally ill. It's like
Oh,
most of them
yeah.
are. Actually, most of the people I talk to are mentally ill.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Although I have to say, like these sort of like these YouTube atheists, I think they're adorable. Amy Newman and her sort of take. They're also sort of nice and nerdy.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like they're mostly incoherent, and you really can't talk to them. I mean, most people are beyond reason anyway, or if they see
Yeah.
reason, they'll just
Well, you can't just present your stick all the time and pretend that people sort of, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I know
Well,
they don't like it, but it's like, okay, you don't like it. You don't have to like it. I'm not expecting you to like it, but how about just reasoning the thing through? And it's like, no, they can't. They have to run away from the room, and then want to do stuff to you. Yeah, I totally get it about shooting the messenger bearing bad news, but I just
hmm
would have thought that out of all the people I know, and I know quite a lot of them, that somebody might think, well, we haven't got a functioning moral and political system, do we? Somebody might
I
just
think we
admit
do.
that.
Well,
Hmm?
I think we have a much better one than the one you proposed. But I mean, that's not here or there. I mean, that's not. We can go over this again.
We don't
We
have
can
to. We
go
don't
over.
have to. But
No, no. I just wanted to sort of touch upon something you said earlier about the dishonesty of debate. Yeah. So where did you appear where you were shouted down or
no, I
threatened to?
wasn't. It was T
Oh,
Jump. Oh yeah, yeah. He's supposed to be the second best debater on YouTube, second only to somebody called Destiny.
Destiny.
Have you heard of him?
I know Destiny.
You know him?
Well, not personally, but I've heard of him.
Yeah, I think I've
I
subscribed to
I
his
know him
channel,
by
but I can't bring
reputation.
myself to listen to him. Do you think
Oh
he's
yeah,
any
it's just one
good?
of these. Yeah, but it's one of these people that used to game a lot, and then during gaming started talking politics. It's not very interesting. They're
Yeah,
not
it's
great
not. I
minds.
can't even bring
They're
myself
not
to listen to it.
they're not Roger Scrutins or AC Gradings or whatever. They're not like that. You know. So
They just
I don't see the
monologue on their
point.
channel. I guess
I,
in the
I
same way
don't see
that
the
I
point.
do.
I don't see the point listening to these people. And sometimes I thought it was interesting when I was told it.
Yeah, but okay, but T Jump doesn't do that. He doesn't go on about his political views. I mean, he does at least focus on debating and arguing with people who appear on this Discord. Um, so at least it's focused on debate. But then it's not particularly honest anyway. But then as usual, it's always about it's not really about what. Okay, I'm trying to say that people don't really care about the arguments. They just want to support their guy. The Muslims want to support the Muslim Dawa guy. The atheists want to support the atheist poster boy, and that's just what T Jump is. And as for the arguments, they don't really get it because they don't understand it. They can't explain, why I'm so stupid, why I'm so wrong, and whatever. Have you dropped out? Sounds like it. Oh, you're still there. You're still there. Hello. Oh well. All right, I'll just read the chat before I go, in case somebody posted anything sensible or intelligent or whatever. Just go through the chat. Yes, it's a very slow computer. Hello, Howard Schunova. Okay, nothing of interest at all. Chemtrails, boring stuff. Alright then. Oh, thanks for coming by, people. Talk to you again soon. Bye bye.